Our next speaker, he's online. He's from UK, from Bickel. He's Pradeep Paida, the Chief Technology Officer. So if we can have Pradeep. Pradeep will be presenting applications, methods, and research in deep learning and data science. So over to you, Pradeep.
Thank you. Hi, this is Pradeep here. Okay, cool. Hi, this is Pradeep here. My background actually is in semiconductor design and building artificial intelligence solutions. I have 19 plus years experience. I was with companies such as Intel, Texas Instruments, Cypress Semiconductor in the US and India. I am an Indo-UK Frontier Tech awardee. So today I'll speak about a couple of applications, methods, and also what is the research that is currently being pursued in the deep learning space. Okay, so let me start with what does it take to build an AI ecosystem. All of us speak about artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, right? So I'll start on a light note. Right. Unfortunately, everyone is fighting with everyone else around the world, and oil production and price gets affected. Right. So as I mentioned on a light note, in a not so distant future, if there is a fight between, say, countries A, B, and C, systems will be able to read the news about it, predict what will happen, and turn on the oil and gas production down. Okay. Because if you look at it, oil production and the price varies quite a bit with external factors around the world, right? That's what the future is about. Now, how do we get to that future, right? From a current setup perspective, organizations are basically adopting a fundamental paradigm shift. Innovation is no longer based on research and development pipeline. But on an experiment and scale model that is being adopted. Small experiments are the future of business innovation. And that's where we as a company, Baikal, come into picture. We help in designing these experiments related to artificial intelligence and help in scaling these experiments if they work. So let me start with a few methods and algorithms that a couple of the speakers also spoke about in the preceding presentations, right? This list it's not exhaustive, it is indicative, it is illustrative, but it will help the students who are online, who are in this call, right, to understand what sort of algorithms are being adopted for various applications. So if you look at it, I have listed out a few methods related to text applications, audio, sound signal, speech, object detection, identification, classification, landmark points, depth, time series, and environment state detection. Right. The earlier speakers basically focused on object identification and classification. That is on the visual and data classification, the oil spill recognition case, so on and so forth. And the first speaker spoke about the security compliance, right? So that actually uses algorithms related to just not straightforward machine learning algorithms, but also new age time series data that are being currently used. So I've listed down various applications related to the methods. For example, in object identification and classification. You have things like ResNets, convolutional neural networks like ResNets, RetinaNets, so on and so forth that are being currently used. And there are various platform tools available today, off-the-shelf commercial softwares, and also open source tools available on which these classifications can be architected, designed, and implemented. Right, the famous ones are TensorFlow and PyTorch. Caffe is a legacy framework that has been used in the initial days, but now it's not being actively pursued. Okay, now for all these algorithms and the subsequent deployment for applications, right, you would require, or at least it is important to understand that the speed at which these things get detected, for example, in object identification and classification, you don't want around 15 to 20 seconds to be spent to classify a particular product or an oil spill. So HPC, a high performance computer, is a requirement to achieve necessary business speeds, right? That's where GPUs come into picture. Now, if you look on the rightmost column, I've listed typical improvements that you get on high performance compute systems when you use GPUs for the various applications and the methods that have been listed on the left side. So we actually partner with Oman Data Park, on which we help them deploy these methods, applications on tools like TensorFlow and PyTorch on the HPC, on the high performance compute GPU machines to achieve these speeds. Right, as I mentioned, this list is not exhaustive, it's for illustration, and there are innumerable use cases that are being deployed across the world. So we cannot really get down to each of those use cases, but you will get an idea in terms of the various methods and the associated applications that are being pursued. Okay, our focus in this particular presentation will be on reinforcement learning based environment state detection. This is primarily for control system type, plant machinery control, and also geo exploration. So I'll walk you through a couple of illustrations and use cases to help you understand what do we mean by environment state detection, where reinforcement learning algorithms are being used. So if you take a typical data science application, right, for example, in the oil and gas scenario, price or consumption prediction is now being actively pursued. So you have the real world data, you take the data from the real world and then apply data science algorithms. You basically get a picture of, say, price or consumption or production, so on and so forth. And then you use time series analysis in a multivariate system, right? You can have n number of dimensions, basically to predict any of the requirements associated with, say, price or the consumption or production. Okay, so in this picture that you see here graph, the red line actually is a prediction based on the historical data. Okay, and blue line is actually capturing the real world data. So if you see, there is some difference between what is the actual data and what is the forecasted data, right? Typically the accuracies are around 90% in terms of prediction. And then over a period of time, using online algorithms, continuous refinement of the models, you can bump the accuracies from 90 to 95%, but it is very subjective in nature. Okay, now this is the traditional data science application. There's nothing fancy about this. There are people doing this since quite some time. Okay, but what is interesting is, can we actually build systems that can automate the production control based on prediction of the price or the consumption or the production from real world data, right? So in the earlier picture, I shared the real world and data science applications for predicting the data. But can we actually now look at automated production control based on action reward principles? This is where reinforcement learning comes into picture. So what happens in this setup is that you take data from the real world, okay? You try to predict what is the price or consumption or production, as we spoke earlier, right? Feed that data into the plant model. This is a simple architecture block diagram that I am showing for you to get a high level understanding, right? We would want to either increase the production or decrease the production based on the real world data, Today, manually those decisions are taken. The whole idea here is, can we automate the decision, the production control, based on an action reward principle? That is how a reinforcement learning algorithm works, right? And the general setup, as you can see, you would have a plant model. Almost every plant in the manufacturing sector, you would have a model of that plant, right? A mathematical model of how that works, right? You basically have model files that you use in conjunction with that model for simulating how that model works, right? Now, the beauty of this environment now is, you use that model along with the simulation engine, understand what are the operating points in which that model is basically running, right? The state of the plant. Feed that into a reinforcement learning agent along with the real world data, whether the prediction is that the price will increase or decrease, so on and so forth, right? So the operating point of the plant along with the real world data is fed into the reinforcement learning agent. It will now, using deep learning, deep neural networks and the reward function, it figures out whether to increase the production, decrease the production, so on and so forth, right? I will show you a simple simulation of how this works, right? So as we just spoke about, it's about automating the plant operations by providing rewards or penalizing the points to the algorithms, right? As you can see here, the red dot is basically extracted from the real world data. You perform data science algorithms to recognize that the production has to go up or the price will go up, so on and so forth. If that is the case, then the plant actually, think of this as an industrial joystick. Okay, everything is run by the algorithms, by the system in an autonomous fashion, right? It increases the production or decreases the production by looking at the traditional data science output and auto controlling the operations to chase the red point. So what I'm showing you in this particular video on the right side is a learned system. The reinforcement learning algorithms have actually learned and is able to figure out which direction to go. What you are seeing on the left side is actually the initial phases of learning. So if my red dot is actually here, it's still not able to figure out whether it has to move left or right, right? But over a few thousands of iterations, the system will figure out that it has to move towards the red dot, and accordingly, the production will increase or decrease, so on and so forth. So this whole concept works on a reward phenomenon. Okay, this is another simulation model where you now have multiple knobs or joysticks that you would want to control or make the algorithm control, right? And the goal here is to make the blue line, which is the automated algorithm setup, follow the orange line. Orange line is basically the ideal operations across process conditions. Okay, so you get the idea of how reinforcement learning is going to work in a multi-condition optimization setup, right? So the idea here is to automate plant operations by providing rewards or penalizing points to algorithms. This works similar to a vehicle autonomous driving system, right? You must have heard about ADS. And also in one of the simulations, I showed you how RL algorithm is making the difference between the feedback node and reference node 0. So this is a typical product development cycle where we gather the business requirements, we work with you in the system solution development, source the data, generate the AI models, do field verification, and it's an iterative process, the model generation and the verification, productize it and deploy. Right. So yeah, this is my last slide. Yeah, so this basically captures the essence of the presentation, right? The future is going to be about control systems driven by reinforcement learning, rewards-based actions and reduced intermediate predictions is how the whole AI world is going to evolve. And there's a requirement for high performance compute at the edge or in local centers. That is where entities like Oman Data Park come into play for low latency decision making. So thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Pradeep. Appreciate. Will you be online so we can have question and answer at the end of the session?
Sure, I will be.
Thank you so much.